A very good morning, children. Today we are going to learn about a new topic in grammatics, and that is the sentence. So, today we are going to learn about chapter 1, the sentence. Okay, so now, first of all, the question is, what is a sentence? Alright, so what is a sentence? Okay, so a sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. So, what is a sentence, children? Repeat after me. A sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. Now, what do you understand by group of words? So, there are certain words that we use in English. Okay, अगर हम इन words को अलग अलग करेंगे और अलग अलग बोलेंगे तो that won't make a sentence. But अगर हम कोई properly कोई चीज़ बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है, that is called a complete sense. For example, I eat. If you're talking about I eat, अगर हम किसी को बोल रहे हैं, हाँ, क्या बोल रहे हैं हम? I eat. But क्या हमें ये समझ में आ रहा है? I eat what? Now, this is a incomplete sentence. So, this is not a proper sentence. If we say that I eat an apple. So, now it is very clear that I eat an apple and it is understood. Okay, so group of words. Can you see how many words are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So now these are the 4 words that we have brought together to make one single sentence. अगर हम apple को छुपा देते हैं, okay, if we hide apple and we see I eat an. अगर मैं आपको बोलूँ I eat an, क्या आपको समझ में आएगा कि रीना मैम क्या बोल रही हैं? नहीं. So that is not a sentence. But if I say I eat an apple, now it is very clear that मैं क्या खा रही हूँ? मैं एक apple खा रही हूँ. So this is a proper sentence. Okay. I hope you understood now. What is a sentence? So children, once again, what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. And I gave you the example, I eat an apple. Alright, so there are certain important rules that we have to follow in a sentence. Okay, so a sentence always starts with a capital letter. Make sure that a sentence always starts with a capital letter. We always start a sentence with a capital letter, and if you are writing a sentence without beginning it with a capital letter, that is absolutely wrong. The second point is it should make a complete sense. It should make a complete sense. मतलब समझ में आना चाहिए. Like I gave you an example, I eat an apple. Okay. And the third very important point is it should end with a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. So it should end with a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Okay, जब हम कैपिटल लेटर से स्टार्ट करते हैं तो हमको पता चलता है कि ये सेंटेंस स्टार्ट हो रहा है, और जब हम एंड करते हैं तो हम ये तो फुल स्टॉप डालते हैं, ये तो क्वेश्चन मार्क डालते हैं, ये तो एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क डालते हैं, जिससे हमें पता चलता है कि द सेंटेंस इज़ फिनिशिंग, that sentence is finishing. So these are the 3 important points that you have to make sure when you are writing a sentence. Number 1 is what? A sentence always starts with a capital letter. Okay, it always starts with a capital letter. Okay, now the second point is it should make a complete sense. It should make a complete sense. अगर ये complete sense बनेगा ही नहीं तो जो सामने वाला है उसको हमारी कोई भी भाषा समझ में नहीं आएगी कि हम बोलना क्या चाहते हैं. And the third point is it should end. End में it should end with a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Alright, so let's revise what we have learnt again. First of all is what is a sentence? Okay, a sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. And there are certain few important points that we have learned, that is a sentence always starts with a capital letter. Second point is it should make a complete sense, and the third point is it should end with a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. Now, a sentence is divided into two parts. How many parts it is divided into? It is divided into two parts. Number one is subject and the other one is predicate. So don't forget, a sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense, and it is divided into two parts. Number one is subject and the other one is predicate. Alright, now let me explain you what is a subject and what is a predicate. Okay, now here are few examples. Okay, number one is he ate an apple. Now in this sentence, he ate an apple, we are talking about who? किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं? Here we are talking about he. हम किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं सेंटेंस में? He. तो what is he? He becomes the subject. He becomes the subject. Okay, and what is he doing? Ate an apple. Okay, so जो ये चीज़ है, this becomes the predicate. Clear? Predicate. This is how you pronounce it. Okay, now in the second sentence, the man is running. हम इस सेंटेंस में किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं बेटा? इस सेंटेंस में हम किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं? We are talking about the man. So the man is the subject, and उस man के बारे में हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं? Is running. So is running becomes the predicate. Now let's talk about the third sentence, that is Rohit is eating an apple. Now Rohit is eating an apple. Now in this sentence we are talking about who? Exactly, we are talking about Rohit. तो यहाँ पे हमारा सब्जेक्ट क्या हो गया? रोहित हो गया. अब इस सेंटेंस में हम रोहित के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, पर क्या बात कर रहे हैं? सो द रेस्ट ऑफ द words becomes the predicate, that is eating an apple. Now let's talk about the fourth sentence, that is the dog is barking. The dog is barking. Now in this sentence we are talking about whom? हम किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं? We are talking about the dog. We are talking about the dog. So the dog becomes the subject and is barking becomes the predicate. So it is very simple, children. कोई भी सेंटेंस में सबसे पहले हमें अपने आप से क्वेश्चन पूछना है कि हम उस सेंटेंस में किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. ओके, सो दैट थिंग बिकम्स सब्जेक्ट, और जो रेस्ट ऑफ द सेंटेंस होता है दैट बिकम्स द प्रेडिकेट. Okay, so now let's revise what we have learned today. We have learned is what is a sentence. So a sentence is a group of words that makes a complete sense. Okay, so there are certain important points that you have to remember. Is number one, a sentence always starts with a capital letter. Secondly, it should make a complete sense. And number third, it should end with a full stop, a question mark, or an exclamation mark. And then we learned that a sentence is divided into two parts. How many parts, children? Two parts. Okay, number one is subject and the other one is predicate. And now I told you what is a subject किसी भी sentence में. Okay, सबसे पहले हमें देखना है उस sentence में we are talking about what, किसके बारे में हम बात कर रहे हैं. Okay, like one more example I should give you is I eat an apple. इस sentence में हम किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं? I के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. We are talking about I. We are talking about I. So I becomes the subject. Okay, and उसके बाद जितना भी rest है that becomes the predicate. So I, what are we talking about? I eat an apple. So that becomes the predicate. I hope you understood what is a sentence and what is a subject and a predicate. Alright, children, so now as we have learned what is a sentence, so now let's talk about different kinds of sentences. So now the next part that we are going to learn is different kinds of sentences. So we have 4 different kinds of sentences. In a sentence, we have 4 kinds of sentences. So the different kinds of sentences are: number 1, assertive sentence; number 2, interrogative sentence; number 3 is exclamatory sentence; and number 4 is imperative sentence. Now, listen to the pronunciation of these words. Assertive. Okay, it is called assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, exclamatory sentence, imperative sentence. So once again, I'm pronouncing all the different kinds of sentences. First of all, so we are going to learn about different kinds of sentences. And how many kinds of sentences are there? There are 4 kinds of sentences. How many kinds, children? Very good. We have 4 kinds of sentences. So number 1 is assertive sentence. Number 1 is assertive sentence. Number 2 is interrogative sentence. Number 3 is exclamatory sentence. And number 4 is imperative sentence. So now we will be learning about all the 4 different types of sentences. Alright, so the first kind of sentence is assertive sentence. Now the question arises is, what is an assertive sentence? Now, assertive sentence is a simple sentence that tells the fact. ये एक सिंपल सेंटेंस होता है जो हमें फैक्ट बताता है, जो हर दिन होता रहता है, एवरीडे लाइफ में हमारे जो भी होता है, ये हमें फैक्ट बताता है, ठीक है. Now, it starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. ये हमेशा कैपिटल लेटर से स्टार्ट होता है और फुल स्टॉप से एंड होता है. ये सिंपल सेंटेंस होता है, सिंपल चीज़ होती है, ठीक है. ये कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं होता है, सिंपल सेंटेंस होता है जो हमें फैक्ट बताता है. एंड इट स्टार्ट्स विद अ कैपिटल लेटर and ends with a full stop. So these are the 2 points that you have to remember. Number 1 is assertive sentence is a simple sentence that tells the fact. Number 2, it starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Now, for example, Ravi is going to London. तो इसमें तो कुछ बात छुपी नहीं है. रवि है एक लड़का जो कहाँ जा रहा है? लंदन जा रहा है. So see, this sentence is starting with a capital letter and ending with the full stop. Now another sentence says that this flower is very beautiful, and you know that flowers are really very beautiful. So ये तो fact वाली बात है. And now this sentence is starting with the capital letter and ending with the full stop. So understood what is assertive sentence? Now let's talk about the second type of sentence, that is interrogative sentence. So interrogative sentence is a question. So what is it? It is a question. It is a sentence that always asks a question. ये एक कौन सा टाइप का सेंटेंस है? ये एक ऐसा सेंटेंस है जो क्वेश्चन पूछता है. ओके. And number 3, it ends with an interrogation mark, that is a question mark. तो ये किससे end होता है? ये हमेशा question mark से end होता है. Okay. So once again, what is an interrogative sentence? Interrogative sentence is a question. और ये हमेशा what it does? It always asks a question. ये हमेशा question पूछता है. And it ends with an interrogation mark, that is a question mark. Start होता है, it starts with a capital letter and ends with a question mark. Now let's see few examples. For example, what is your name? Now see, this is a question. Where do you live? This is also a question. Now you can see very clearly it is starting with the capital letter and it is ending with a question mark. Okay, so you have to keep this mind, you have to keep this in your mind, that an interrogative sentence is a question. It is a sentence in which we ask question from others. Okay, it starts with the capital letter and ends with the question mark. Now let's talk about the third type of sentence, and that is exclamatory sentence. What is that, children? Exclamatory sentence. So now, what is exclamatory sentence? An exclamatory sentence expresses a strong feeling. It is a strong feeling. जो हमारे अंदर जो भी feelings होती है ना, वो automatically बाहर निकलती. That is called exclamatory sentence. Okay. Now what are we talking about? We are talking about the feeling in this sentence. Okay. It starts with a capital letter and ends with an exclamation mark. Can you see this? This is an exclamation mark. Okay. Now, as I told you, in this sentence, it expresses a strong feeling. जो भी हमारे अंदर जो feelings होती है ना, वो sentence के through बाहर आती है ना. For example, wow, what a beautiful flower. जब भी हम कोई चीज़ बहुत अच्छी देखते हैं, तो हमारे मुंह से अपने automatically it comes out. Wow. चोट लगती है, हम गिरते हैं तो ouch. I hurt myself. Oh, my leg is paining. ये automatically ये सब words निकलते हैं. So these are exclamatory sentence. So what is an exclamatory sentence, children? Once again, an exclamatory sentence expresses a strong feeling. चाहे वो खुशी का feeling हो, चाहे वो दुख वाला feeling हो, पर वो feeling बताता है इस sentence में. And one more important thing, it starts with a capital letter and ends with an exclamation mark. Now, the fourth and the last type of sentence that we are going to learn is imperative sentence. What is that? Imperative sentence. Now, assertive sentence. Now, what is an assertive sentence? Assertive sentence expresses an order or a request. Okay, so it expresses an order. Sit down. Go out of the class. Who told you to do this? It's an order. When we order someone. Okay, so that is an imperative sentence. Please close the door. Can you open the window? So these types of sentences are known as request. So this is also an imperative sentence. Okay. So imperative sentence expresses an order. It expresses an order or a request. Okay. So किसी भी सेंटेंस में जहाँ पे आपको लगता है कि वहाँ पे ऑर्डर दे रहे हैं या वहाँ पे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, that is imperative sentence. Now the second point is it starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Okay, so it starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Now for example, please come here. Okay, it's a request. Please request kare. Open the window. It is an order. Okay, so what is an imperative sentence? So imperative sentence, किसी भी sentence में if you see that there's an order or a request, that becomes an imperative sentence, and imperative sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with the full stop. So what we have learned today, children, we have learned different kinds of sentences. Okay, so how many kinds of sentences are there? 4 types of sentences. Okay, number 1, assertive sentence. Number 2, interrogative sentence. Number 3, exclamatory sentence. And number 4th is imperative sentence. So the assertive sentence is a simple sentence that tells the fact. It starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. Okay, now interrogative sentence, it is a question. It always asks a question. It starts with a capital letter and ends with a question mark. And the third kind of sentence is exclamatory sentence. It expresses a feeling. It expresses a feeling. Okay, it can be a happy feeling or a sad feeling. It starts with a capital letter and ends with the exclamation mark. And last is imperative sentence. It is a sentence that expresses an order or a request. Okay, it starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop.